There is something to constantly declutter, declean, and organize in our family. But today we're going to start with our kitchen. And if you're like us, you've probably got a space in your home that needs some attention. So join me today as we tackle our kitchen and get things back in shape. Hey friends, welcome back to Simply Home and Harvest. If you're new here, I'm Jen, and today we are in the kitchen, but we're not going to primarily cook in here, though that will come later this evening, and I might bring you along for it. We are going to begin a project that is long overdue. In the summer, when our days are a little less structured and we take a small break from homeschooling, I like to declutter, get in my kitchen cabinets, drawers, closets, all those things that get so cluttered just because of life, and get in there and start organizing and cleaning out so that when it's time for us to start back to school, we've got a clean, fresh slate to start with. Do I always succeed in that? No. And probably more times than not, I don't get everything done that I want to get done during the summer. So here we are, July 1st, and I feel like I'm just now getting to this point. But first, I want to get this kitchen decluttered and organized. Now, I have cabinets that when I open the door, spices just start falling off and hitting me in the head and rolling across the floor. So we've got to do something with that. I've got drawers that are stuck because there's so much in there. Half of it we don't use. I have cabinets that are holding dishes that we don't need. And then there's a wish list that I have, some things that I really want to add into our kitchen that I think would be beneficial, make things more efficient around here, but there's no room for them because of stuff that is taking up valued real estate in our kitchen that we don't use. So we're gonna tackle that today. We're gonna start today. Actually, I've already gotten started a little bit, but I didn't have the camera rolling. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you a little of the spots. Now, my kitchen is not like complete, things aren't put away. I washed some breakfast dishes this morning. Those aren't put away. I need to wipe down some things. But I'm just gonna show you the way it is right now because we live here. And I'm going to also talk about some ideas that I have. So let's get started on this. All right, so I'm just gonna do a scan of what I consider to be our kitchen. Now this is our coffee bar area. We do have some cabinets that I'm going to probably address minimally because I've already been through them one time this year. You see, I got a nice little harvest from the garden this morning that I'm so thankful for, which means, the busy garden season is upon us. So anyway, this is our coffee bar area. And then we've got our fridge here. We've got cabinets, our microwave. I'm gonna talk about our newest member of the appliance family over here. And then I've got like upper cabinets here. And then I've got some lower cabinets that we're going to be taking care of. So that's basic, and some drawers. So that's basically what we're going to address. Now I'll start with the refrigerator because actually last week I did some decluttering in the fridge, on top of the fridge, and the cabinets above the fridge. And I found these really cool magnet sheets. I had these papers up because I love what each one says and I wanted to keep them out in the refrigerator, but they're right by the back door. And you see my fly swatter back here because we have been using that a lot lately. We've had all kinds of stuff flying in the house. But anyway, we had magnets holding our pictures, and every time the door would open or a good gust would come through, it would just blow these off. So I found these on Amazon that I really, really like. And you can just open them up, stick whatever you want to inside, and then they close back over. It's a little bit easier to navigate than, one of those frames, and you can switch out things often. Of course, I got some pictures down here, but I love these. And I think it came with it was a 5-pack or 6-pack. So I'll try to remember to link that down below. But that's one thing that I added to our kitchen that's made things a whole lot easier. I also thought maybe I would use another one to put here and do like maybe a menu board with it. We could, change it out for the week. I think you could probably write on those with a dry erase marker. But that's just, a thought there. So I did give our refrigerator a good cleaning. Sometimes you can't tell because it's stainless, it has some dinks in it, And that's one thing I am not a fan of about stainless is all the fingerprints. It's just hard, so hard to keep it shiny and looking good. But really stainless is the way of the world right now, it seems. If you got an appliance that goes out, stainless is what you normally have to replace it with. Now up top, we did have some baskets and things up here, but I wanted to make this look a little bit less cluttered. And so I've told the family I want two things up here. We can put the extra egg cartons. We've got some reusable egg cartons. And then this basket that we picked up on a thrift haul. I don't know if you saw that. There's an ink bin up there. I don't know if you saw that thrift haul or not, but we got this from a thrift store. We got a whole bunch of stuff. But this is the nicest basket. It's got handles. It looks like it was barely used. It's good and sturdy. And for now, we're gonna use it for like our bread basket up here. And I like the way it looks. I like that it's minimal. Pretty soon we'll be filling up all these egg cartons. I've got some eggs to wash. But that's what our refrigerator looks like. Now we did, I think I told you that our crock pot went out. We had to replace our crock pot. Our Keurig went out. Thankfully, someone gifted us a Keurig that we were able to bring back to life, which is starting to have problems today. So I'm gonna have to go over there and just see if I can fix it, and we can save that Keurig that we were gifted. But something else happened last week. Our ice maker that we absolutely love, the feature here on our refrigerator, it froze up, and when it started to turn, it ended up cracking just all kinds of pieces in there. Tim tried to get it, like bolt it back together and get it to work, but it's not going to. Now we can replace it for $200, but our refrigerator has problems that we have to constantly defrost the thing. It gets jammed up. And so we feel like we're biding our time with it. And we didn't know if we wanted to drop $200 on our refrigerator. So we ended up buying this little $70 countertop ice maker. Now I have it off currently, but it makes like the little bullet ice. And so far so good. We've just been able to kind of like, you know, make it and bank it in a little container in the freezer or put it in bags. But you can see, again, it's stainless and all the little fingerprints and water drops and everything are on it. So it's gonna be fun to keep that clean. But that's the newest member of our appliance family. So we've got 3 appliances that now have died in like 2 weeks. Hopefully our microwave will continue to run, in our oven, which is the oldest appliance in this house. So I'm talking too much, but I do want to declutter some things. I would love to be able to maximize our space. Now we do keep our cutting board up here, and this microwave is like an air fryer and a convection oven, and like I think it's 3 different things in one. So it has accessories. It has the air fry basket. It has the little baking thing. So I just try to keep it, you know, close by to the microwave. And then also we want airflow in the microwave. And we have knives that we need to try to find a home for. And so you see, I've got it vented on both sides. We could also touch up the paint here, but I don't know if we're gonna get to that. Anyway, that is what this area looks like. I'd also like to find a different dispenser to put my dishwashing soap in, just so that it's more pleasing to the eye. I guess the word is aesthetic there. So we're gonna be on the lookout for that. I've got to run to Marshall's today, which is kind of like our Home Goods. We don't have a Home Goods in our area, so Marshall's is our go-to for things like that. You see we have some eggs to wash. Now this drawer I can't even open all the way without opening our oven door to get it open. So this is, we call it our junk drawer, or some people call it their essentials drawer. So I need to get in here and probably throw away some stuff and maybe make this a drawer that we don't need very often, since we can't open it all the way. But silverware, not too bad. These are the things I would love to get conquered. I mean, this is the one that sticks because I just throw all the jar lids in here. We need a better solution for them. And then this one is another one of those that just, you know, things get thrown in. So we're gonna try to clean the drawers out today. And then we're gonna do some shopping for some other things. And we did get some bread made yesterday. And these are gonna go with slider burgers tonight. So Dinner is halfway done. Isn't that a beautiful loaf of bread? Sometimes they turn out just gorgeous, and sometimes they're not so photogenic. This one is very photogenic. But anyway, I digress. I've got to get going, run all these errands. I need to go to the grocery store, and then we'll come back and get to work. Here's some video footage from where we tackled those cabinets above the refrigerator and microwave. Now, in these cabinets above our refrigerator, this is where I keep like our nicer dinnerware that we don't use as often. So I really didn't have to do much to that space. I did just kind of go through it a little bit just to make sure that everything up there was what I wanted to keep, and it was. But I did clean off our fridge significantly. And like you see, the items I told you about earlier is what we kept up here. Now, I do apologize for the angle of the shot. I must have bumped the camera somehow, but I didn't really tell you about this space too much. We do keep a lot of like our everyday spices up here, and I keep like my measuring cups and things like that. So I cleaned this area out, and this is the cabinet I told you that spices were constantly falling on me. And I found this Lazy Susan shelving system on Amazon. I'll try to remember to link that below, but it has been wonderful. I wish I had gotten some more footage of this so you could see how great this has been. We have used it so much, nothing is falling out of the cabinets anymore. And you see that I did find something at Marshall's to hold our dish detergent. I don't know that I really like it, and I might have to do something different, but that's what we are using for now. Now, moving on to those drawers, what I decided to do on this day was just to kind of go through each one. And this took me about an hour. Like I said, you can split these jobs up into whatever time slot you have available. And I just made piles, whatever I wanted to get rid of, whatever I felt like I needed to put back in the drawer, and then a pile for things that needed to go to a different location in the home. I did this with all of the drawers, gave them a good cleaning, cleaned out each tray, cleaned out the drawers. I am always surprised at how crumbs can get down into these drawers that we are putting clean utensils back in. But somehow crumbs do make their way into our drawers. Now, we did decide to keep the silverware just like it is. I really didn't have to declutter too much in this drawer. And then our little junk drawer, or essentials drawer, as I try to call it, we gave that a deep cleaning as well and got rid of a lot of stuff that we had accumulated. We can live with a lot less, I have found. And, sometimes things just sneak in the drawer. You think, oh, here's a bolt or screw or a piece of something that broke, and you hang on to it, thinking that you're going to need it, but you don't. You either survive without it or you move on to something else. So going through this drawer on a regular basis is a good idea. Next, we're moving to our cabinets where we have our glassware, cups, and I even store our homemade vanilla in this cabinet just because it's a nice dark place and it's away from most of the heat sources in the kitchen. But you see that over time, you accumulate lots of mugs and dishes, and then our spices, some of our spices, especially what Tim uses to cook on the weekends. He loves to make breakfast for us on the weekends. And a lot of that had found its way into this cabinet, which was making it really hard to get things in and out. So I did go through these cabinets. I got rid of a lot of cups and water bottles. My goodness, the amount of water bottles in this house was overwhelming, but we reduced it by quite a bit, made some good little bags for thrift store, Goodwill, wherever we decide to take those things, and just got it down to the bare minimum of what we use. I was able to keep all of our everyday drinking glasses on that bottom shelf, coffee, thermoses, things like that on the second shelf, and then the very top shelf, we kept more of our like fancier dinner glasses. And then on this shelf, what I decided to do, or in this cabinet, I just decided to relocate some of the bowls and things that we use every day that had been at the very top shelf. I brought them down to the lower shelf just so they would be a whole lot easier to put away and get to. And it doesn't look like we made a lot of changes, but we really did, because we took all of those spices and cooking oils and things and moved them to a different area. So you can see that everything is a lot more streamlined, cleaned out. We could probably even clean it some more. And we will do that on a more regular basis now. So, over the last couple of weeks, I have decided that I probably can get rid of a couple more coffee mugs. However, if you're like me, you have special mugs that you hold on to because they came from someone special, or you got them at an event that was special, or you just really love your mug. So it's really hard for me to let go of coffee mugs. I don't know what it is, but I also like buying more. So I've got to figure out a way to reduce the amount of coffee mugs. I'm going to work on that, y'all. This is our snack cabinet above the stove. Now, this is where I decided to move all of Tim's like cooking oils and spices that he uses. And then I just tried to organize our snacks that we consume on a regular basis in this space. And so far, so good. We've been able to keep it organized for a couple of weeks. Now, this is always a problem area, and that is the cabinet beneath the sink. We do like to keep a trash can here just, for cooking and just easier access to the trash. And then we also have cabinets that go really deep back in the corner that are almost impossible to get to without like getting a crick in your neck or cramp in your leg. But we've got to work with what we have. So I did my best to clean out and organize this space. And I'm really happy with the way things turned out underneath our kitchen sink. I was able to organize things in a way that I can get to them a lot easier. You see everything that came out. We gave everything a good cleaning, a wipe down, slow cookers and cake holders, and took some things downstairs that I don't use every day. And it made a huge difference. So now everything is pretty much staying in the right spot. It doesn't fall on you or try to slide out. It also feels a lot better that I don't have a lot of cookware down there near the trash can. That always bothered me, but now everything has its own space. And the little opening you see right there, I found a basket to put our used dishcloths in so that I can have fresh dishcloths every day, which has been so nice. Now you see how dirty our oven is, and I've needed to clean it for a long time, but we have a self-cleaning feature on our oven, which gets to be very hot, gets the house very hot, and it's been very hot already here this summer. So I had been putting this off, but I did decide to go ahead and use it. I had to leave the house, so it didn't get its full cleaning session in, but it was enough to clean it significantly if you remember what it looked like before. I did add a little bit more elbow grease and scrub as much as I could to get it as clean as it's going to be. This oven is very old. It's seen a lot of casseroles and baking and Thanksgivings, and it's just showing its age. It has stains on it that just are not going to come out, and that's okay. Now, this drawer was so full of stuff that I could barely open and close it. The drawer kept coming off the track. Once I got everything out of it, I realized that it was full of crumbs, and underneath the stove was filthy. So we gave it a tremendous cleaning and got rid of a significant amount of stuff. So I'm going to show you what it looks like now, but this was something that has needed to be done for a long time. Now, it has come to my attention recently that this is actually a warming drawer for bread and anything that you take out of the oven. So I want to know, do y'all use this as a warming drawer or do you use it for storage? Let me know. Just wanted to show you guys how much easier it is to pull this drawer out. It's not getting jammed. I don't have nearly in it what I had before. I just kept some of our oven mitts and oven gloves and a lot of the bigger utensils, potato masher, our rolling pin, the smaller pin, and some of the larger utensils I'm keeping in here, along with all of Tim's Blackstone accessories, our bread, what we roll out our dough. I don't know why I can't find the word silicone mat. Is that what I'm searching for? Anyway, the dough mat and our biscuit cutters. I'm just keeping all that in here, and some extra cake pans, and then an extra tray in there for the oven. But other than that, look, I can just push it with my foot closed. Success. Also, I wanted to show you our drawers. I did end up just putting them back together, and I kept everything very minimal as far as trays and things in the drawers, just because I told you earlier that our drawers are so small. This is a smaller kitchen, and this house was built in 1986. That gives you an idea of the way the carpentry was then, the cabinetry. So you know, we just have to do what we can to make things work. I've really been wanting to have my dishcloths in the kitchen and not in the pantry. And so I was able to work that into one of our drawers, and I'm so happy that it worked out. I was able to get rid of a lot of utensils that we weren't using. And so instead of putting in some sort of organizer, it just worked best for everything to fit in here without that, so that the drawer could open and close and not get stuck. So I just kept like my hand mixer accessories, a sifter, a strainer for our cans, like the citrus press, garlic press, lighter, all of those utensils and things in this drawer. And then this is something I'm also excited about. I have never had a place for my bags and really wanted so badly to be able to have them in a drawer so they were easier to access. I have them sometimes above the stove or below the sink, but just because I use these so often, it's so nice. It's been wonderful to be able to just open the drawer and pull out the sandwich bags and the freezer bags. And then I'm keeping my bread bags back here, the twist ties, my bag holder. I figured it would be a good place to have it with the bags. And then our teaspoons, tablespoons, anything we need like bread accessory wise. I've got dental floss in here because I use that to cut cinnamon rolls and other things. So I am very happy to have this drawer and the accessibility of those Ziploc bags. We kept our silverware the same. This system just seems to work for us, so I didn't want to mess with that. And then in the back, we've got some of the larger pieces. But everybody knows where the silverware is and where to put things when they clean out the dishwasher. So we just decided to leave that where it was. And then this is our junk drawer or essentials drawer. This is the one that we have a little trick here. We have to open our oven door to be able to pull the drawer out all the way. Does your house have quirks like that? This is one of those character, I guess gives the house character or whatever. But anyway, in this drawer, I just put our organizing bins back in here and cleaned this out considerably. And also found a spot to put like our corn cob holders because we have really been needing those lately. All this fresh corn coming in. And then we've got batteries, sticky notes, you know, all the things you probably keep in your little drawer. A Sharpie, a key to the neighbor's house, a flashlight, all the things. So that's what our drawer situation looks like. Close the oven back up. And now I'm just going to clean our cabinets, wipe those down really well. I'm mopping the floor today. I've already given it a good cleaning. And then our kitchen declutter and reorganization will be complete. All right, so these two cabinets, which I'm gonna clean out, but I want you to see, if you can, these go way deep back in here. And it's just really hard to get to anything, but you can see that they do get, you know, dirty over time. And of course, these are older cabinets, but I probably could put some sort of contact paper or something in there to make them look pretty. But you know what? I mean, as much as I would take pots and pans and bang up things, trying to get them in and out, just keeping them clean is probably good enough. So we're gonna get in here with a little vac and get out all these crumbs, get them a good wipe down. I don't know what this is, but I don't think it's coming off anytime soon. Maybe if we redo the kitchen and cabinets, you know, we'll get rid of that. But anyway, gonna clean it up a bit. And this is what came out of just those two doors. Now, a lot of it I use, but a few pieces like this can go to another place. And I do see some dishes that I can get rid of. But there are accessories that we use every day. We use this every day for smoothies. Our toaster we use every day. But there are a lot of water containers that we probably can get rid of. And then these little novelty waffle makers, which I've had for a while. I did a charcuterie board for Valentine's Day for a little Galentine's party that my daughter had a few years ago. And we bought this specifically for that. But I probably haven't made heart waffles in a year or two. So I can either pass this on or put it downstairs, maybe on the shelf, just for like a more festive use, you know, just for Valentine's Day or whatever. And then I've got a pumpkin one over here too that we could also move. This is stuff for smoothies. My casserole dish and carrier, which is so old and needs to be cleaned as well. But a lot of the smoothie accessories, we need to find a spot for them. My pots and pans also are stored barely. I mean, the handles don't remove from these pots and pans, so I do like that feature on some of the other ones. But last year we decided to go with the stainless steel. Just felt like we would get more life out of these because, you know, they're very durable. And I really didn't want to do anything coated just because I know after time they wear down. And we've had stainless steel in the past and really liked them. So got a whole set last year at Sam's Club for Christmas, and I have really enjoyed some of the pieces I haven't even used yet. It just came with so many pieces. And we've got bowls here, mixing bowls, bread bowl. Here's an electric carving knife that probably can find another home because we only use this once a year at Thanksgiving, and the last couple of years we have done something different where the turkey has already been sliced. So we can put that in more permanent storage. We have our immersion blender here that I use a lot. Here's the other waffle maker with the pumpkin. But these are so cute. Like I said, though, they take a lot of time to make all these little individual waffles. And but I do, you know, get that out every now and then as just something a little fun and different. And then we've got dishes that we do use. Now, I don't use this one a lot. This is a Pampered Chef, the stoneware. I've got 2 pieces. And then this one I have because you can put this in the microwave, but I don't use it very often. So I'm going to think on this. I don't ever use this tart dish. Of course, I use my mixing bowls a lot. So some pieces I can probably part with or move somewhere else. So we'll see what we can do to gather some more space in this kitchen. All right, I wanted to show you real quick that I was able to get those stickers off with our scraper here. I just have never, I guess, paid attention or taken the time to do that before. So now we have a nice clean cabinet that we can maybe put something else on, like an organizing thing, maybe to hold our lids. But I wanted to show you that I did get in here and scrub just with a rag and some soapy water and got a lot of that dirt off. So looks better. It doesn't look brand new because it's not brand new. But if you forgot what it looked like before, you can maybe rewind a little bit, and I'll show you. We have not started on this side, so you can see this side's not quite as bad as the other side, but still a lot of dirt. So I'll work on getting this a little bit cleaner. But let me show you where all the stuff is that we had. So aside from the flowers, my drink, and the fruit here, everything else just came out of those 2 cabinets. So that's a lot of stuff. Got like a lot of our cooking oils, vinegar, that sort of thing. Lids, I don't know why we have so many mason jars upstairs, so those probably need to relocate. Our dishes for leftovers, more lids, like disposable to go. And that's just about it. So we just need to find a place. Oh, and all the lids to the pots right here came out of that cabinet. We're missing 1 lid, so we got 4 lids total. And I've got to figure out a solution for that. I've spent the last hour like online taking measurements, trying to see if we can come up with something that goes over the cabinet door that would hold these lids like a lid organizer. Because of the size of this one and the smaller size of the cabinet door, it's going to be tricky. And then I did look at the ones that you just put on the shelf that have the different slots to slide each lid in. And that's possible, except for, again, this one is so tall that it really like scrapes the top of the cabinet, and that's where the drawer above like glides in and out. So it's going to be tricky, and it also will not fit on the bottom shelf. So it has to be on the shelf right beneath the drawer to even fit. So we got a lot to figure out. But my goal is just to get this kitchen more efficient, to get rid of what we're not using. And we cook a lot. You guys know that. I use my kitchen constantly. So to really cut down on a lot of these things is going to be hard. But I'm going to try because honestly, life is changing. And really, we don't need a lot of the things that we may be used to, you know, even though we love that little container. I don't have little ones anymore. And then plus, we don't eat a lot of cereal anymore. And these are taking up way too much space. You see, I've got some Goodwill runs over there. But anyway, we're just going to figure it all out as we go, and I'll show you the end result. after giving everything a very good cleaning, I decided to sit down for a few minutes and just really think about how I wanted to organize this space, what tools I really needed to get the job done, and where to go to get those things. I was on my way to Target when I decided to check out Bells or Bills instead. It's spelled Bealls. No one can figure out how to pronounce it, but it's kind of like our Home Goods. We don't have a Home Goods here. We have a Marshalls, which I like Marshalls, but this place had exactly what I needed. I actually ended up spending about half of what I had determined online that I was going to spend at Target on, a lid organizer and a lazy Susan, and they had so many tools and organizing things to help with any kind of project you have like that. So if you have one of these in your area, you really need to check it out. And I feel like we need to have a drum roll or something because I am so excited about how this space turned out. No, I do have a basket right there holding like all of our like disposable leftover dishes, not our glassware, but anything else like that. And I put all of our casserole dishes and the Dutch oven, things that we don't use every day, back in that deeper space. And then I found containers to hold like our hand mixer here, the immersion blender, so I was able to throw away those boxes. And then I have a basket now for all of our smoothie items, and our Ninja, which we use to make the smoothies, is right up above. I can pull this out. It's so easy to access. And then our toaster, I thought, you know what? I'm going to put this in a basket so that it will hold all of those crumbs. It'll be easier to get it in and out. And so far, so good. It is working. And I hope I can keep that space a little bit more organized and clean. I am loving how well our pots and pans are fitting into this space now. It seems like it's so much easier to get them out. We relocated some things, our bread bowl and our mixing bowls and the colander. I just let them nest in each other, and they seem to be fitting perfectly in that space. So easy to get in and out. And all I needed to do was just give this a little thought and organize it. And I just cannot get over how much more efficient this kitchen has already become. This is our lid organizer. Look how easily everything fits in there. It made it where, that door could slide in and out right above it because it kind of tilts the lids back, which I did not think about. And everything just fits perfectly right there. So far, so good. Nothing is falling out. I was so afraid that I was going to break one of those lids. And I also have space for that long handle of the other pan there. And then our lazy Susan that we got, just so easy to get to our oils, the shortening. We keep peanut butter in here because we do use that a lot. There's some of our apple cider that we made, some extra salt. You see our apple cider vinegar back there as well. Our olive oil, which didn't quite fit on the Lazy Susan because of the height of the bottles, but everything is so easy to get to, very accessible. I think the Lazy Susan was $5.99, and then the rack holding the lids was like, I don't know. In all, I spent $12. I can tell you that. So very, very affordable. We did keep a few mason jars up here that we just need. We use those for leftovers and for putting items in, like cut up vegetables. And then this shelf I already had downstairs that I wasn't using. So that's kind of like a space saver tip there, is to use something like that. That way you can use that space more efficiently. And then I added an extra basket to hold lids because this one was kind of overflowing. And so it's just really easy to get in and out, and everything is just so much easier to get to. I did have a little space that I added our kitchen scale up here on the side too. So all in all, everything fits perfectly. I was able to relocate some things, get rid of a lot of items. All right, you guys, I am just so overwhelmed with joy right now from finally finishing this kitchen declutter and organization. It feels so good to finally be done with this project. And when I say it took weeks, it took weeks. When I sit down to edit this video, I think we're gonna go back to probably the end of June, and here we are getting closer to the end of July. So the end of June when we started the project. So it's taken about 3 or 4 weeks, but that's what I can tell you. Do what you can. There were so many distractions, so many times I wasn't able to get to it, but we just steadily kept pressing through and we got it done. And I feel like we've got it to a point where we're going to be able to manage it and keep it organized. So we got rid of a lot of stuff, and I'm still in that mindset every day. If it's something that I held on to, just thinking, okay, we kind of use this, you know, I'm going to reevaluate this thing every 3 months, maybe 6 months, and just see, is this something that we really need to hang on to? Because I think we can do without more than we think we can. Does that make sense? So let me cheer you on. The ice maker's going in the background. You can do this. Doesn't have to be a big ordeal. Just start small. Do something every day. Clean out a drawer. Clean out a cabinet. Just have a bag in a corner that you can add stuff to, that you can get rid of, get out of your home, pass on to someone else, or take to a thrift store or, you know, a secondhand store somewhere. Just pass it on if you're not using it, if you're not going to use it, and start living a more simplified lifestyle. That is our goal here at Simply Home and Harvest. I say it all the time, and I need to live by my own words. And sometimes we just get caught up in the busyness of life that we accumulate more than we need. So let's do better, y'all. I'm talking to myself. I'm gonna try to do better to not accumulate so much, but to use what we have and to just try to not overcomplicate things. Fingers crossed, right? All right, well, on that note, I'm going to leave you guys. So until next time, remember to live simply, use what you have, enjoy the moments you've been given. I will see you in the next one. I feel like I'm moving on to the master bedroom and our closet. That's where I feel like I should move next. So I may take you along for that. I don't know. It's messy in there, and I just don't know if I want to show you all that, but we'll see. All right, stay tuned. Bye, y'all.